The truth is, nobody actually tells you how to swim efficiently. When I started swimming as a kid, the coach would just tell us to swim back and forth. There is no why. Why should I keep my face down? How do I actually swim faster? These are the questions that I was thinking, and I know you're thinking the same thing. The reality is, whether you learn how to swim as a 5-year-old or at the age of 55, it's really difficult to grasp the mechanics of how you move through the water efficiently. It's why we developed the My Swim Pro app and all the different drills and skills that we teach you, so that way you can build progression, so that way you can swim longer, faster, and do so using less energy. And I wish I had learned these skills earlier on, and it would have saved me the pain of swimming all of those mindless laps inefficiently. I used to think the harder you work, the faster you swim, and this simply isn't the case. Now, certainly there's a lot of value in pushing yourself and working hard, but you have to learn how to swim smarter, not harder. This goes back to what I was talking about, understanding the why behind everything that you do. You shouldn't just swim back and forth and push yourself to your absolute limits. You have to make sure you're doing the right training at the right time for your goals. Because if you're training to swim a 5K open water or the 50-meter freestyle as fast as you can, these are two completely different goals. If you're coming off the couch and learning to swim your first 5K or your first 1K, or you've been swimming for 30 years, you're completely different. It's one of the reasons why all the programming in the My Swim Pro app is personalized, specific to your goals and your skill level. But I never learned these things as a kid growing up. And now as an adult, it's my goal to teach you how you can better maximize your efficiency in the water and learn to move through the water so that way you're not pushing yourself for no reason. I also didn't realize that if you stop swimming, you completely lose your feel of the water. It's not one of those things like riding a bike where you just pick back up. Any person that's elite in their discipline, meaning they've done it hundreds, if not thousands of times, you develop this feel, this vestibular awareness. And in the water, it's amplified because this is something that you don't do on a day-to-day basis. It's not like running where the same muscle fibers that you use when you run, you use when you walk, and you walk every single day. In swimming, you don't swim every single day, and you're not going to develop a feel of the water. That's why I say the minimum, absolute minimum to develop a feel of the water is swimming at least twice per week. If you're only swimming once per week, it's not going to happen. And you actually get additional benefits if you can swim more than twice per week. If you can swim 3 times per week, 4 times per week, 5 times, even 6 times per week, it's actually better to swim a little bit less, more frequently, than to swim a lot and then take a big break. And I learned this way too late. Today, I like swimming a much shorter distance, but much more frequently, and that way I can maintain my feel of the water. Even if I'm cross-training, running, biking, weightlifting, I wanna touch the water, even if it's just for a few hundred meters, that way I can maintain my feel of the water. And when I wanna pick up my swimming and I wanna do it a little bit more intensely, I didn't fall behind. A happy swimmer is a fast swimmer, and this is one of the things that I've really come to learn as an adult, because when I was a kid growing up, I would swim and train and push myself so hard. I would have all this anxiety leading up to a competition, thinking about who I'm racing, who's gonna be in the lane next to me. I didn't focus on the joy of swimming. It's not about any destination, it's about the journey. It's about feeling good in the water, enjoying the practices, learning to better yourself, being 1% better every single day. And when you step up onto the blocks, today, I just take in a deep breath and I appreciate the moment that I'm in, the gratitude I have. I've been able to do some incredible things in swimming, whether it's swimming from Asia to Europe in Istanbul, I've swum around the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, I've done the World Championships, and it's an amazing experience that I don't take for granted. And I'm telling you, when you swim with a smile on your face, it makes everything easier. You just fall in the water, you swim faster, you push off the wall, you have a little bit more oomph. And if you don't care too much, and if you don't put too much pressure on yourself, and you just sit back and enjoy the experience, you can be surprised with how much faster you'll go. So swim with a smile and you'll go faster. And you'll never arrive at a perfect technique. It simply doesn't exist. Here on the channel, I've broken down the technique of some of the best swimmers in the world. Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky, Leon Marchand. I take the world record and I show you how they're swimming fast, but I also show you ways that they can improve. And this growth mindset is shared amongst the best swimmers in the world. So if you want to level up, don't think that there's a specific technique that you need to have. You can't swim like Michael Phelps because you're not Michael Phelps, and you never will be, but you can be the best version of yourself. And this is the most important message when I do technique analysis or I talk about technique. There is no perfect technique. Sure, I have a video titled How to Swim with Perfect Technique, technique, but the reality is you're looking for what works for you. We take the fundamental principles of physics and then we apply them to your body based on your prior skills, your strength level, your natural buoyancy, and of course your goals in swimming frequency. Doesn't make sense to compare yourself to even who you are today, because in the future you will develop your skills, you'll improve your feel of the water, and all of these things put together will make you a faster swimmer. I wish I knew that most of your improvement comes not while you're in the water training, but between each workout session. This is specifically referring to your recovery, your sleep, your nutrition, stretching. If you think about it, let's say you swim 1 hour every single day. There are 23 hours of the day where you're not training, and that's where the growth happens. Literally, you release human growth hormone when you're asleep. I used to have terrible sleep when I was in college. I would swim maybe only 5 or 6 hours every single night. My body was getting destroyed. I wasn't recovering, and every workout seemed to get harder and harder. And if this sounds like you, whether it's you're training a lot, you're not giving yourself adequate rest, you're not eating the right kind of foods to keep yourself nourished and saturated, you gotta make sure you're hydrating. Because if you're not doing all of these things, then that 1 hour of intense training isn't going to deliver, because the 23 hours of the clock, you're not doing the things that you need to do to maximize what you did in that single hour. So make sure you're taking a holistic approach to swimming and not just thinking about what you're doing in that hour of training, but how you're thinking about the 23 hours in the day that you're not training. The truth is, most people quit too soon, not just swimming, but in life. You're just getting to the good stuff. When the going gets hard, you're right before a breakthrough, and most people give up too soon. I've seen it in swimming, I've seen it in every aspect. Whether you're giving up at the age of 12, 18, 25, 35, it doesn't matter when you started swimming. Now at the age in my 30s, I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm hitting best times 10 years after swimming in college. I stopped swimming in college after 4 years, and I was just 21 years old. I was just a boy. I've developed more strength, more skills, I learned how to recover my body faster, and I can train 1/4 of the amount and go just as fast. Whether you're just getting started as a teenager or you're 25 or 55, heck, you're in your 60s. My mom learned how to swim in her 60s, and now she's just getting started. And you want to think about swimming as a lifelong journey. There's no destination you're seeking. It's swimming for life. So enjoy the journey and have fun with it. The pool is cold, you're tired, you don't feel like getting in. It takes discipline. Motivation will come and go, but discipline is the thing that endures. And I've seen too many people count on the motivation to keep them going. That's not how this works. You want to build a routine in your swimming, because there are going to be days when you don't feel like swimming. You just want to take a few days off. You want to take a week off. You think this season in life, it's just not going to work. There's no swimming. But the reality is, you not only need to build the right environment and structure and supporting people, but you got to make sure you have the right routine and discipline to stick with it, because it will be easier and harder on some days compared to others. And you got to make sure you have that consistency, so that way when you go down those valleys, you can ride it out and you'll be consistent. I get it. There's life. Things get in the way, but you want to build a routine so that way you're not dependent on your motivation, because that will come and go. Instead, focus on discipline and building consistency and a routine that you can stick with so you don't have those valleys. The reality is, drills are not optional. They're the shortcut. If you want to swim faster, you need to improve your technique. And I spent so many years just swimming back and forth, thinking that if I just push myself harder, if I just train a little bit longer, if I can hang on to my stroke for 75 meters instead of 50 meters, I'll be that much better. But the reality is, if you break up your training and you think about the stroke in individual parts, you can master those individual parts, optimize your training in that way, and then you put them all together and you'll swim much faster. So you can't just think about drills as this optional thing, whether it's kicking, doing streamline, or just how you push off the wall. All of these different drills will compound over time, and it's literally a requirement of being a faster swimmer. Now, depending on where you're at in your skill level, there are different layers to this. So like I said, if you're just getting started pushing off the wall in streamline with your hands together and maximizing that momentum off the wall, this could be a great way to get started. If you're a more advanced swimmer, you need to kick. You need to focus on developing your feel of the water. You need to swim with your fists, with paddles, with snorkel, with equipment. You need to have different variations in your effort levels, whether you're swimming easy, long and strong, adding a little bit more power, threshold, best average, sprint, race pace. All these different things are really developed for you, so that way you can swim faster. We've added them in the MySwimPro app, so you know exactly how hard to push yourself, because that is how you continuously improve. And I wish I had known that earlier. The best swimmers are the most curious. They're always learning. They're looking for ways to improve. I mentioned those analysis videos I've done. I have Olympic swimmers watching these videos, analysis that I've done on themselves because they're looking for different ways to grow. So if you're not absolutely obsessed with swimming and trying to understand how you can get better, you're gonna be left behind. So figure out exactly what your goals are, how you can make it happen, and if you want to work with my team and really immerse yourself in this environment of coaching and analysis and just enjoying the sport, you got to check out our retreats. These are amazing adventures we do all over the world at an all-inclusive resort. They're a ton of fun. You get to hang out with me and the team where we work on your technique and you have a blast. So check out the link down below so you can learn more and join us in paradise.